Hi guys, Diplomat here, and this is game 3 of the ESL Community Cup number 22 finals. I'm playing as Greenskins this time, and my opponent Veins me is Bretonnia. So we're on Bibali, and I absolutely hate this map. Like, one player deploys over here, the other deploys over there. So you've both got like a massive incentive, just a hill camp. Yeah, I'm not a fan at all. I've had some pretty bad games on this map before. So I brought a Goblin Rock Lobber. My infantry line is 3 Orc Biggins, a Black Orc, unit of the 8 Peat Loonies, just because these guys are unbreakable really. And then I've got 4 Biggins. I've got a unit of Goblin Archers now. Not many people take these, but I just brought them because they're kind of a distraction against his archers. If he doesn't focus these guys down, then they can do a lot of damage against the lightly armoured units. And if he does shoot these guys, then, you know, at least he's not shooting my infantry units. I've got 3 cavalry, Orc Boy Biggins, and one of them's the Broken Tusk Mob for the Encourage. I've got Orc War Boss and a Boar with the usual healing potions, and then I've got 1 Goblin Big Boss on a Spider and 1 on a Wolf. The reason is the Wolf is a lot faster, but the Spider gives poison attack, so it's kind of getting the best out of like both of the different benefits. I've also got a Goblin Wolf Rider in the back. The idea is just to use these guys to clean up skirmishes. And obviously the Night Goblin Shaman. So I've just set my big boss in the front to like bait out skirmisher fire. So he's got 2 trebuchets. These guys are obviously going to outclass my Goblin Rock Lobber, so I just sacrifice this guy. You know, he can distract the Paladin, I don't care. He's got 6 Spearmen at Arms, gold upgrades. He's got 2 Men at Arms, Polar Arms, 6 Peasant Bowmen, I believe. And then he's got a Flying Leonker, Flying Paladin, and a Damsel on foot. So he's obviously hill camping this game. You know, he's technically not really attacking, but I don't mind. Like, I'm pretty confident I can win anyway, so I'm just going to go straight up the hill. He's getting some nice shots off early. You can see my cavalry's taking a lot of damage. But because he was focusing my cavalry so hard, a lot of my mainline infantry is pretty healthy. I sent my Goblin Big Boss in straight away. He's going to get some really nice shots off against the Orc Biggins. So I'm probably going to win the infantry engagement, but he does get a massive advantage by fighting downhill. He's left some gaps in his formation at the back, so I managed to bring my Goblin Wolf Riders down here. He's used Curse of the Midnight Wind on this big blob. And I'm going to send my general in now and start popping off some abilities. Again, there's another hole at the back, and I was able to get my cavalry here really easily. I'm going to rout these peasant bowmen, but unfortunately I'm going to get some pretty bad friendly fire on my own Biggins. So he's used the Sword of Corone as well. I used Itchy Nuisance, and he's used Stand Your Ground. Now I've popped War and Stand Your Ground. So there's so many abilities going on in this area at the moment, but he's going to try focus my general down. Thankfully my Goblin Big Boss is pretty close, and the Broken Tusk Mob, so they should be able to support my general in a minute. He's actually, I think there was a bit of friendly fire there with his own trebuchets, so it's not the most effective usage of them. I managed to break through over here. 8 Peat Looney's doing a really good job, and just the rear charge from the Orc Boy Biggins, the morale penalty was really effective over here. So I popped my potions on my general. He was just about to rout, but he's back to full health now. He's used the potions on his Paladin, but this little engagement's coming out in my favour at the moment. A lot of his peasant units have routed. They're going to come back in a minute, but I've got this unit of Orc Boy Biggins that have come back, so I'm going to use these guys to clear up. My Goblin Archers are getting some nice damage over here. but some of my infantry on this side is beginning to rout. And this is where the main fight's going down. He gets another Curse of the Midnight Wind off. And I've used Itchy Nuisance over here, so he's going to pull out. I'm not actually sure. Oh yeah, his general's come back here for a second, so he's just pulling out and then he's going to re-engage in a second. But he's not got that much infantry left at the moment. He's only got 2 units in this area. And a few over here. He's not microing on this side, so again I'm able to get more shots off. And these guys have used half their ammo, and you know, they haven't lost any HP at all, so it's a bit of a mistake to just let these guys fire all game. He tries to come in with his general again. He got some decent damage on my war boss, but he's not going to be able to kill him, and now this paladin's completely isolated and he's going to go down. That's a real advantage of having cavalry like really close to your general, just bogging down the enemy flying heroes. And I mean, that's been a big thing in each of the 3 games in this final, just having cavalry there to support your general when your opponent's got flying heroes. So I managed to catch his his damsel, who's on horse, with my big boss. Like, the big boss on a wolf is one of the fastest units in the game. So he's really useful for catching enemy heroes who are on foot or on a horse. There's just this one unit of spearmen at arms. I think these guys were trying to chase my goblin archers, but they're going to get caught out now. Finally taking down the trebuchet. This has been firing all game, but it's probably done as much friendly fire damage as it has damage to me. Yeah, he's not got much left at this point. I'm going to try and tie down Leon Kerr. But it obviously terrifies my Orc big guns. I'm using this last unit of cav just to get into the peasant bowman. He hasn't really got any infantry at this point. Damsel's come back, but I'm going to be able to attack her again. These guys chasing after each other. He sent his gen over here to help out, but his gen's on such low HP. And I've got a lot of foot units left. I really like taking Black Orcs when you're against Bretonnia, because these guys are going to be around in the late game. It's nice to have like an infantry unit with good morale left for later on. Because if you just take Orc Biggins or something, like I've made a mistake in the past where I've just brought like loads of goblins or something, those guys are really susceptible to just getting terrified and routing, but your Black Orcs are a really sturdy unit. So he sends Leon Kerr again, bit of a desperate attempt to kill my general. He pops Sword of Corone, but I'm going to use a bunch of abilities as well. And now his gen's truly trapped in at this point, and that's pretty much going to be the end of the game once Leon Kerr goes down. So yeah, GG to Vainsmeet. It was a nice little series, but you know, even with the hill advantage in that one, it just wasn't enough. The biggest problems for him were leaving the gaps in the formation that I was able to exploit. These 8-peak loonies, like, they did a lot better than I expected to. Like, they got more kills than all of these Orc Biggins, so like the Night Goblins might actually be a viable choice. I'm gonna have to test that out a bit more in the future. How good they do against Bretonnia, the regular ones. Goblin Archers, 65 kills, that's like, really, they actually got more kills than any of his peasant bowmen just because they were completely ignored, and you can't afford to ignore missile units. My cavalry did pretty well, like I'm happy with them kills. I was maybe a little bit too eager with the Goblin Wolf Riders, but they prevented his peasant bowmen from firing. The big bosses did fine. My general managed to survive, which is always a big bonus, and the Black Orcs, 81 kills and didn't lose much HP. On his side, let's say the trebuchets, I can see it from a strategical standpoint why he brought them, but they didn't actually pay for themselves at all, really. They forced me to attack, but they didn't actually do any damage. The peasant bowman really disappointed kills just because he didn't protect them, and the infantry was pretty mediocre. They just didn't have enough support when the peasant bowmen aren't doing that much damage. and then he's got really no heroes or cav to directly help out in that scenario. Again, he tried to focus my general down with Leon Kerr, didn't work out, and he paid for it in the end. So, yeah, I'll be bringing more tournament games in the future, hopefully. We'll see when the time comes, what games I play. I might even get some replays off other people as well, hopefully record them. So, hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Peace.